G'day everyone, this is a build report for the TonePad Haladito, which is based on the small clone. I've done a number of mods actually to this as well. I had a water slide on the front, but this is actually one of the first water slides that I did, and I didn't fix properly to the actual enclosure, and it actually came off, so I ended up just using these sticker letters instead. So the mods that I've done is a rate LED, some depth switches to switch between capacitor values, and a mono stereo switch as well. I did the add-on board for the mono stereo. I'll show you how I've wired all that up in a moment. I'll do a sound demo at a later stage. This is just going to be about how I've actually built it and how to do the mods. I've just plugged it in so you can see the rate LED there, and obviously as I turn it that way it gets slower, and as we turn it up it gets faster. I'll show you how to wire this up on the inside in a moment. So if you want that on the front of yours, you'll know how to do it. So you can see the rate LED down here. I've just connected the ground to ground, as you always do, and the plus is actually going over to the depth pot on the side here. I found that to be a pretty good spot to put it on. You can adjust the depth and the LED still blinks. It doesn't affect the depth, doesn't affect the blinking of the LED, so give that a go. Test it out before you do it, but yeah, I found that leg to be the best one to hook it up to. With these switches I've got one switch selects one capacitor value, and then when you flick it, it goes over to the other switch which has another 2 capacitor values. So there's 4 settings for 3 values, if that makes sense. It's a bit confusing. I think you can actually do it with an on-off-on switch. You have to do a bit of research to look into it, but it would be better if you could just do it with the one switch. I mean, it works okay, it's just a little bit confusing this way. It's going to be easier for me to show you what this switch does, the stereo mono switch does, rather than trying to explain it. Basically, it's my attempt at trying to get around the problem of having 2 outputs with a 3-pole double throw switch. If you're just starting this project and you're doing the stereo mod, I'm pretty sure you can get around doing all this stuff if you just get a 4-pole double throw switch. I'd do that. I'd just pay the extra and get one, but at the time that I was making them, I just couldn't find a 4-pole double throw switch or any way of actually hooking this up with a 3-pole double throw switch, so I just had to come up with this little workaround. So basically at the moment it's on mono, so I can play and it's fine, but when it's this is in bypass, if I turn it onto stereo, this jack will actually switch off. It's gone. So that switch will only work in bypass in mono. If I want to do stereo, I can still do stereo. So if I switch it on like that and put it on stereo, it'll work. And the stereo works too. It's kind of out of phase. It sounds pretty good, but it's just got that problem that in bypass, when it's on stereo, that jack actually switches off. So if you're using 2 amps, you're not going to get any signal out of 1 amp. So yeah, it fixed the problem of having 2 outputs with a 3-pole double throw switch, but and you can still use it for stereo and mono, but yeah, just when it's in stereo, you don't get any output when the pedal's in bypass. So if you're using 2 amps, you'd probably have it just on mono. So to wire that up, I've just got it's actually a 2-pole double throw switch, but you can just use I've got a lot of these, so I just use one of these, but you can actually just use a single pole double throw switch. And basically the switch is just connecting these two. It's sending the output from the circuit in bypass to both jacks. That's how I've got the output going to both jacks in mono when it's in mono mode, but when it's in stereo, it's trying to get the signal from the stereo board. That's why there's no output, because the effect is switched off, so you don't get anything on the output. If that makes sense, I'd probably just put in the extra effort and do a bit of research on how to wire up a 4-pole double throw switch so that you can just hit the button and you don't have to worry about the output being on or off. It's going to be a lot easier. But yeah, this is something that I made a while ago, and that was the only way I could work out how to actually do it. I asked the question a number of times. I couldn't really get a straight answer, so I just had to come up with my own solution. So yeah, that's what I came up with. So it uses the MN3007, which is a nice modulation chip, and I'll do some sound demos of that in the next video, and I'll try and capture the stereo sound out of it. Might be a bit tricky, but I'll give it a shot. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.